How are you doing? Feel energized? Ready to go? Gentle teachers? What lies ahead? I'm going to talk to you for a little while about a vision that I have as it relates to what lies ahead. And I think many of you will share it as I present it. I'll be talking about several things, but the first thing I want to talk about is personal with each and every one of you. We talk about gentle teaching and what it's all about. And you've heard the tools, you've heard all the things that have been presented in terms of what it's like to do gentle teaching. I'm going to deviate just a little bit and share with you how you can be that gentle teacher. And it's not challenging. It's not difficult. In fact, it's really easy. I'm going to talk about how you can be that role model. In other words, how you can be loving, how you can be respectful in terms of how you talk to others, in terms of how you look at others, in terms of how you touch other people. Because people are watching you to see if you actually do what you say. I work with children, a great deal, preschool children, and I have a story to tell about my own daughter and granddaughter. Talking about modeling now. At some point, my granddaughter, her name is Serenity, did something that Mom said she was not supposed to do. And Mom told her, I think she hit or did something. Yeah, it was hit. And Mom said, that's not nice. That's not nice. So the other evening, Mom was giving Serenity a bath. And I think Serenity did something that Mom didn't appreciate. And so sometimes as Mom do, you pop them, right? Pop. Serenity started crying. And even though I was in the other room, I heard her saying, she's 1.5 years old. I heard her saying, that's not nice, that's not nice, that's not nice. Now this is a 1.5-year-old child telling her mama, that's not nice. Why? Because when she did it, Serenity, Mom told her, that's not nice. So as a gentle teacher, you can't tell people to do as I say, but don't do as I do, because they're watching you, okay? Even the little ones, a baby is watching. And they actually learn from watching the people that take care of them. That's how they learn. They don't learn in a vacuum. What you do, they do. So my point is, if you want the people that you work with, be it little children, older ones, people in nursing homes, people with challenging behaviors, people with special needs, if you want them to be loving, then you got to be what? Loving. If you want them to be respectful, then you got to be what? Respectful. Because they're watching you. And little children are learning from you. Very, very important. In other words, model what you say. Now, you heard a lot about unconditional love, right? And we want you to operate in unconditional love towards others. Now, how many of you know that if you don't have something yourself, you can't give it to somebody else? You know what I'm talking about? You need some money. I don't have any money, but you come to me for money. I can't give you money, can I? Now, let me ask this question. How many of you said something to yourself that was good about yourself today? Great. Fantastic. Because what I'm getting ready to share with you, and I'm going to give you a scenario, it will enable you to be this gentle teacher. Being a gentle teacher is not going to your job site and behaving a certain way and going home or to the store and behaving a different way. A gentle teacher is who you become. So it doesn't matter where you are, you will still operate as a gentle teacher. Why? Because that is now who you are. And you can go places and you don't have to tell people, I'm a gentle teacher, because they will see the way you operate. They will see the way you behave is indicative of being a gentle teacher. They will look at you and say, oh, that's a gentle teacher. You don't have to tell them. People will know. Now, how do you get to that? You get this, and it'll work for you. It will also change your life. First of all, let's give this scenario. We all have important people in our lives. We call them significant others, don't we? Now, suppose they start behaving a certain way that you don't think is real positive. And they start being distant. They're not being very attentive to you. And so you start saying to yourself, what in the world is going on here? They don't love me no more? What do I need to do different? And then one day they come in and they bring you a bouquet of roses. All right? Something very nice. And they give it to you, say, here, take this. I know I haven't been myself lately. You know, there's no excuse. I love you, and here's a token of my love for you. Please accept that, sweetheart. Now, you can respond in one of three different ways. Your first response, this is what you would say to yourself. They love me, I knew it. Mm-hmm. Look at this, yeah. And you feel pretty good, agreed? Or you can say to yourself, I'll get to you in a minute. Or you can say to yourself, no, it's about time. Okay. Kind of a neutral response, so no big deal. Or you can say to yourself what this group over here was saying, what they've been up to. Who they trying to fool? Flowers? They supposed to have been at the job, and when I called, they weren't even at the job. They're trying to fool me and trying to play me. Well, I got news. There won't be no play tonight. So, if you say those things to yourselves, you're not likely to feel too good. Would you agree? All right. So my question to you, and it's not a quick trick question, my question to you is, what caused those feelings? Anybody? History? Insecurities? Anybody else? Lack of trust? Okay. All those factor in, but what I want you to zero in on is this. In each one of the scenarios, the first one, I said that you said to yourself, great, yes, fantastic, you felt good. The second scenario, you said, okay, no big deal. It's a neutral feeling. The third one, you said, trying to play me. Guilty. I'm not accepting this. And you felt bad. The common thread common thing in each one of those scenarios were things that you what? Said to who? Okay, let me repeat that. The things that you said to yourself determined how you felt. That's the point I want to make. It's not people that cause you to feel what you're feeling. It's not circumstances that cause you to feel what you're feeling. It's not situations that cause you to feel what you're feeling. It's not the weather, well then maybe it is, that cause you to feel what you're feeling. It's what you say to yourself about people, about circumstances, or about situations that causes your feelings. So who's in control of your feelings? I didn't hear that. Who's in control of your feelings? That's right. Each and every one of us controls how we feel. When we start feeling a certain way, we need to take note of what we're saying to ourselves about what's going on. And if we want to feel differently, we need to change the script. We need to change what we're saying to ourselves. Now, the reason why that is so important, because it's personal. You get up in the morning. You look in the mirror. You brush your hair to the side right here, just like that. Make that little part. And then you look at yourself and say, I look good today. You are saying something good to yourself about yourself. You are beginning to fill up what I call your love tank. All right? And that's how you get it done, by saying good things to yourself about yourself. Why? Because in gentle teaching, we want you to provide what kind of love? Unconditional love. And if you don't have love on the inside of you already, you can't give it to nobody else. So you have to start by filling up your love tank. Do it every day. Because you work in challenging situations, don't you? We saw some videos of many young people and older people that have gone through a lot. And so it takes a lot from us as caregivers to provide that love unconditionally. But in order to give it, we first have to have it. And that's how you get it. Saying good things to yourself every day about yourself. And understand, no one else can fill up your love tank. Only you can do that. How many times have you tried to compliment a person about what they had on, about the way they look, and they would say, you say, I like that. And they say, what? This old thing? Oh, I just pulled out of the closet. Yeah, you wanted to make them feel good, right? But what you said didn't make it happen, did it? Why? Because they can only make themselves feel good, just as only you can make yourself feel good. That's the point I want to make. Now, I talked about how well you look, and you told yourself you looked that good, and you went to work. And someone looked at you when you came in, and they said, oh, I like the way you look. Hey, that style really accents your beauty. And you look at them, you smile, and you say, thank you. And this is what you say to yourself. They see it too. Now, you're always going to have the haters, right? You know, the ones that want to talk negative. And so they're going to look at you and say, what in the world did you do? Did you stick your finger in an electric socket or something? Your hair is all out of place. You look at them, you don't respond to that, you just look at them and smile and keep on going. But this is what you say to yourself. They're having a bad hair day. Or you can say, oh, she doesn't have on her glasses, so she can't see very well, because I know I look good today. The point is, you keep feeding your love tank, even when people try to tear you down. And people will do that, right? Because people can be negative, can't they? But you don't have to go there. The only way you get upset, and this is deep, when someone says something negative about you, is because at some level you believe it. Person look at me and say, you are just ugly. And I look back at them and I say, well, I'm not as ugly as you. So what have I done? I've acknowledged the fact that I too believe that I'm what? Ugly. But I'm mad at them for recognizing that I'm ugly and talking about it to me. All right? However, when you fill that love tank up, words like that, comments like that will not bother you. It will be like pouring water on a duck's back. You know what happens? It just rolls right off. Rolls right off. Rolls right off. Let me tell you this story. A man had his favorite pony, Shetland pony. And he just loved that pony so much. One day the pony kicked him. And the man got upset. He said, I'm going to bury you. So he dug a deep hole, a real deep hole. And then he started shoveling dirt on top of the pony. As he shoveled dirt on top of the pony would shake it off and pack it under his feet. The man didn't stop. He just kept shoveling. Pony shook it off, packed it under his feet. He kept on, shake, pack. And you know what happened eventually? The pony raised up because he kept packing the dirt on his feet and walked away from the hole. So when people say things to you, shake it off, pack it under your feet, and elevate yourself just a little bit higher and keep it moving. Hey, that's what gentle teaching is all about. Because you feel good about you, you're not going to allow anyone else to take your joy because you controlled it. That way, she said, amen. Oh, boy, I'm in church today. So that way, you can have this love unconditionally to give to your clients, to your children, to others, to anyone. You control your feelings. So you can go to work at a school, preschool, regular school, high school. You can go to work in a nursing home, a center for people with disabilities, challenging behaviors, even law enforcement. It doesn't matter as long as you know who controls you, which is you, and how to maintain that control. By saying good things to you, then you control your feelings. Now, mind you, if you don't fill it up, your love tank gets a little low, you'll see a difference in your behavior. Love tank a little low, you come to work, and this youngster or adult or whomever come to you and say, hey! And then you say to yourself, they were sick yesterday. I thought they were going to be at home. Or either, I thought they weren't coming today. Love tank is getting a little low. All right? Working with school children, little ones. They call your name. Can't they call somebody else's name? every time I turn around, they're calling my name. There's somebody else that work in this room. Why can't they call their names? You don't say that to them. You're saying this to yourself. Love tank is getting a little low. All right? Briefly, some ways you can keep that love tank filled up is in addition to saying those positive things to yourself, do some things that you enjoy doing. Do them on a regular basis. Each of us have things that we enjoy. And it may or may not involve anybody else. And if it doesn't, that's okay. Do that because you need time away for you. Would you agree? Ladies, you know, you come home, and some of you do bubble baths. You know what I'm talking about? Get in the tub, put some stuff in the tub, and, you know, make a lot of bubbles, and you're warm, and you feel good. And you just get in there, and you just soak, okay? And you know how we are. We come home, honey, are you still in there? You've been in there a mighty long time. And ladies, this is what you say to them. Honey, I've already fixed dinner. It's on the table. Go ahead, feed the children and put them to bed. Right now, this is some me time. And I'm taking care of me. And sweetheart, when I'm through, right, I'll take care of you. And make sure you do. The next day when you come home, you open the door, you will see rose petals from the door all the way to the bathroom. And honey, I just went by the store and this really smells good. You want to try this tonight? By taking care of you, loving you, you can cause others to change their behaviors. You don't have to say a word to them. Just by you loving you. That's an instance right there. Now he's ready to bring anything to your feet, to your doorstep. You didn't say, you don't pay me enough attention. You just act, I declare, there's no love in the house. No, you love you, and you see the difference in others around you. And that not only applies to being at home, but at work also. Because you've heard the saying, what you give, you what? Receive. Now, understand that you may not, as a gentle teacher, see results right away in terms of changes in the person that you're working with. But don't give up. Because what you're doing, you're sowing good seeds, good positive seeds. And you nurture those seeds every day by the way you talk to that person, the way you touch that person, the way you look at that person, the way you involve that person, engage that person. That's how you're nurturing them, and you're sowing those good seeds. And eventually, as with any crop, when you sow the seed and you fertilize and nurture it, you will soon see the fruit. Would you agree? All right? Now, everyone is different. Some you may see results early, some it may be later. And some, because of their history, you may see it sporadically. You may see it one day, you may not see it the next day. But don't give up. Continue to sow those seeds. Continue to be you, that gentle teacher. And eventually, you'll see the results. Okay? Now, I want to share with you a story. And before I do that, let me just Oh, a book called Self-Talk, Sign of Sanity, Insanity, or the Key to Self-Empowerment. And look where you can get it. Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, right on the internet. Wow. I recommend it. In fact, I have 3 to give away today. It's an easy read, and I recommend you look at it. It's about 16, 18 pages. It's like a pamphlet, and it's written just as I've just spoken. So anyone that can read and understand will get it. Even children, young adults will get it. And the thing is to know and understand. Those things you say to yourself determines how you feel. Okay? All right. Now, let me see if I can get to this story that I want to tell. This story is about a third-grade teacher. Her name is Miss Holman. Don't look for the board. It's not going to show. And so she stood in front of her third-grade students, and on the first day of school, she told her students something that wasn't really true. And I might say in preface, too, that a lot of you are what we call natural gentle teachers, meaning you haven't gone through all of the steps that we've taught and that we presented, but you have something on the inside of you that causes you to operate already as a gentle teacher. And so what we presented here this week just allows you to be even better than what you already are. And it's confirmation for who you are. But you weren't always at that point. And I said, she told her students something that wasn't true. Like many teachers, she looked at her students and said, you know what? I love you all the same. No, you know that's impossible. There in the front row was a little kid, a little boy, and his name was Christian. Miss Holman had watched Christian the year before and noticed he didn't interact with the other children. His clothes were messy, and he often needed a bath. And his behavior was very challenging. It got to the point where Miss Holman would actually be happy when Christian was out of school. That love tank was really low, wasn't it? At the school where she taught, she had to look at all the records. She had to review all the records, okay? And so when she got to his record, she was in for a big surprise because his previous teachers had written some things. His preschool teacher wrote, Christian is a bright child with a ready laugh. He is eager to learn and loves to build things. He is well-mannered and a joy to be around. His kindergarten teacher wrote, Christian is an excellent student, but withdrawn because his mother is terminally ill and life has been a struggle for him. His first grade teacher wrote, Christian's mother's death has been hard on him. He tries to do his best, but his father doesn't show much interest, and his home life will soon affect him if some interventions are not implemented. Moving on, Christian's second grade teacher wrote, Christian is withdrawn and doesn't show much interest in school. He doesn't have many friends, and he sometimes sleeps in class. By now, Ms. Holman realized the problem and was filled with empathy. She felt even worse when her students brought her Christmas presents wrapped with a beautiful ribbon and bright paper, except for Christian. Christian's present was wrapped in a heavy brown paper bag that he got from a grocery store. Miss Holman took pains to open it in the middle of the other presents. Some of the children started to laugh when they saw the rhinestone bracelet with missing stones and a bottle of perfume that was half full. Miss Holman stifled the children's laughter when she said how pretty the bracelet was, putting it on and dabbing some of the perfume on her wrist. Kristen Johnson stayed after school that day just long enough to say, "Miss Holman, today you smell just like my mama used to." Once the children left, Miss Holman cried for at least an hour. On that day, she quit teaching to standards imposed by the school system and began to teach in the way that children can learn. She paid particular attention to him, to Christian. As she worked with him, his mind seemed to come alive. The more she encouraged him, the faster he responded. By the end of the year, Christian had become one of the smartest children in the class. And despite her lie that she would love all the children the same, Christian became one of her favorite students. A year later, she found a note under her door from Christian, telling her that she was still the best teacher he ever had in his life. 8 years went by, and she received another note from Christian. He then wrote that he had finished high school, second in his class, and she was still the best teacher he ever had in his life. 4 years later, she received another note saying while things had not gone well and had been hard at times, he remained in college and will be graduating with the highest honor in his class. Christian assured Miss Holman that she still was the best and favorite teacher he ever had in his life. 4 more years passed, and another note was received. Christian explained that he had received his bachelor's degree. He decided to further his education. The note explained that she was still the best and favorite teacher he ever had in his life. But now his name was a little longer. The signature on the note read, Christian F. Johnson, M.D. The story doesn't end there. You see, there was another note sent that summer. Christian said he met this wonderful girl and was getting married. He explained that his father has passed away a couple of years ago, and he was wondering if Miss Holman might agree to sit in the place where the groom's mother would sit at the wedding. Miss Holman said, "Yes, of course I will." And she did. And guess what? She wore the rhinestone bracelet with the missing stones he gave her, and she made sure she was wearing the perfume that Christian remembered his mother wore on their last Christmas together. They hugged each other, and Dr. Johnson whispered in Miss Holman's ear, "Thank you, Miss Holman, for believing in me. Thank you so much for making me feel loved, safe, and involved. You showed me that I could make a difference. Miss Holman, with tears in her eyes, whispered back, "No, Christian, you have it all wrong. You were the one who taught me that I could make a difference. I didn't know how to teach until I met you." So that's why I say to you, it's important that you don't give up. Continue to invest your best so that your students or the clients that you serve can achieve their best. In order to teach someone, you first have to reach that person. And gentle teachers reaches people the best. Thank you. Thank you. And like I said, this person said give out 3 books. So trying to find an objective way to do it. Let me just kind of walk down. All right, while I'm walking, are there any questions? Okay. Okay, could you repeat that question? I can bring you. Oh.
Do you have?
Okay. Let me see. Who gets the first book? You do. All right. Who gets the second book? Here. Third book. Thank you. And the rest of you know where you can get the other books, right? Amazon.com. Just go online. Yes.
Mike.
I know that you've been working with people with disabilities, children, and elderly as well. Do you see any difference in any way to work with people with, different age, different culture, and so on?
Question, do I see any difference? Because you are that gentle teacher in terms of how you interact and gain the relationship, develop the bond between you and whomever you're working with, remains pretty much the same. The only difference is, for some, it may take longer for that relationship to gel, okay? And we just have to be aware of that and not have unrealistic expectations. Here I am being this positive person. I know I'm showing love, and they don't show me love back. As I said, you're still sowing those seeds. Don't give up. Don't give up. And, even if they just look in your direction and smile a little bit, hey, big deal. I like that look. And the next day, you may see it sooner, and then you might see a smile. So when you see them react and respond in a positive way to what you do, what you say, how you interact, make a big deal out of it. Hey, I like that. Oh, I saw that hand. You were waving at me. How's it going? And then, and then sometimes they put the hand back down, like, oh. But they know how you responded. And so the next day, you walk back, you might see them go. Then you know you're reaching them, okay? And as I said, when you reach them, then you can teach them. Excellent question. Others?
Very silent.
Someone told me earlier when I started that I had to be short in terms of the length of time, and so I was trying to be a little short. But I hopefully, is this something that I've said that you can use? Okay? Because you really do make a difference. You really do. And I don't want you to give up. And I want you to keep that love tank filled up. And don't get disappointed because you may not see things happening as soon as you expect or want. But understand that feeling is coming from what you're saying to yourself about what's going on. Remember that and say, oh, okay, but I'm doing the best I can. Maybe tomorrow, I just keep on doing it. Eventually, you see the results. And then when you see it, then you can really celebrate. Yay! Fantastic! Woo! And do that clap. Okay. Any others? Comments, questions, reactions? Thank you. Okay.